Hello and welcome to Sharing Needles with Friends.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
I'm your host, Chim Richards.
Chim Richards. That's a good name. That's a good host name.
I think that was from Anchorman.
Probably.
But I'm taking it. I'm plagiarizing it.
Jesus, man.
We talk a little bit about that here.
We do. And that's a shitty thing to do.
It is. But before we
I
get
am
into
your host, Gene Priest, and sitting beside of me is my lovely co-host, Derek Jones.
I'm wearing nothing.
Wearing nothing.
Let your mind wanders.
Let it go.
We are sponsored by...
Vinyl Me, please.
Yes, which is a Vinyl of the Month club. You can go to vinylmeplease.com and get your membership started today.
$23.
$23 a month. You get a record that you're going to really, really want. And be pissed
guaranteed
if you don't get it.
Yes.
And you will get a cocktail recipe that pairs well with the album. And
so the party time can happen
exactly.
while listening to it.
You got to have your crunk time.
That's true. You got to get turned.
You also get,
as you said earlier, you got to get turned.
You got to get turned sometimes, guys. You also get a
Derek was getting turned on Temple Run.
I was, dude. By the way,
he was having the best.
I had to pause it because you were just being persistent.
Oh,
that
you mean
stop?
Oh, right, because we had an interview.
That's true.
Yeah, there was that.
I guess that was important.
Yeah,
but I've got the highest score I've ever had on Temple Run.
That's good. I'm glad that you were able to pause it and break away long enough to be able to do the podcast.
Yeah. Well, if for some reason my pause didn't work right, I'm blaming Nathan Gray.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's not fair.
Well, sometimes life's not fair.
We do have the fantastic Nathan Gray on the show tonight, talking about his upcoming digital EP, which will be on the 13th, which is this Tuesday.
Yeah.
It'll be released online, and you can go to Facebook, Nathan Gray Songs, or Instagram, Nathan Gray Songs, or YouTube, Nathan Gray Songs. Yeah,
and I would suggest that because they're about to start doing a live...
Ritual Chambers session?
Yeah, Ritual Chambers session and doing a live video of each. And if you're subscribed through YouTube, you'll get to see it probably way quicker than...
Exactly. Than just finding out about it when someone tells you, hey, did you see that new chamber session with Nathan Gray? It was, the cello. And
you will be embarrassed.
You'll feel bad if you weren't the kid that got to see it and then you hear about it from all your friends. So don't be that guy and go sign up on all of those lovely places and follow.
If you're unfamiliar with Nathan Gray has been in such bands as Boysetsfire. He was in I Am Heresy. Well, I guess he's still in both of these bands.
Yeah.
And also, he's about to release his first solo self-titled album.
Yeah,
which we've heard, and it's pretty fantastic.
It's absolutely incredible, and I'm excited to have him on the show because way back in the year of 2000, and I was of the age of 18.
The year of our Lord 2000.
In the year 2000, I was 18 years old, and I picked up a record called After the Eulogy. And that record shaped my hardcore youth almost fully.
Almost fully.
Like it was one of those records that if you ask me, hey, in the years between 98 and 2002, what were some of the most influential bands on your music? Because that was when I was starting to play in bands, and
it was probably Boysetsfire and Shaggy, right?
It was definitely Boysetsfire, and Shaggy was up there.
Yeah,
but I didn't have room for him in the end.
Right?
I had to let him go.
Yeah, you probably had one single space left in your disc carrier.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And I had the entire discography at that point of Boysetsfire, so I didn't need anything else.
Exactly.
But we're going to talk to Mr. Nathan Gray right now, and we had a weird incident where our phone cut out.
It did.
And it did that last week, too, and I'm wondering...
It's probably your fault somehow.
Well, I'm wondering... Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It happened 2 episodes in a row.
I think it's because you got rid of your iPhone and got some inferior piece.
No, it's not at all. At all.
I mean, we never have problems on my iPhone when we're doing the calls. So,
okay. Well, we've dropped calls before on your iPhone.
I don't know.
I think it's just a simple case of dropping calls. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, we apologize, but it's always funny. I mean, it's always a hilarious situation for us to go through, and it's not frustrating or stressful at all when we're in the middle of a conversation and we drop the call. No stress.
Yeah,
no stress.
None whatsoever.
Actually, it's more of a panic.
Actually,
I look down at the phone.
I've come to expect it these days.
Yeah, you ready for it?
Yeah.
See, I'm not. I look down at the phone and I hear that it disconnects. I'm like, no, we didn't do that on purpose. I didn't hang up on anybody.
He probably thinks you did it on purpose.
Oh God, I didn't.
Well, here is Mr. Nathan Gray. Enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. This is Gene, and with me is Derek.
Hey, how are you, Nathan?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, dude.
Doing really good. We appreciate you coming on, man, doing the show.
Yeah, no problem at all. Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay. Things happen. It's life. Things happen.
Funny enough, Dan and I, the guy that does the music with me, we had to have a meeting to figure out how the hell we are going to fit in all the things we're going to fit in the next 2 months.
Wait, so there's a lot of things planned. That's good because I had a lot of questions about what you guys were going to be doing coming up.
Man, there's a lot of shit planned.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
I'm exhausted right now just having talked about it.
I know. Well, it seems like you're always fairly busy. Like you seem like the type of guy that doesn't like to take downtime, which I respect a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm not big on downtime. I get very bored very easily.
Yep.
With such things. Plus, I just feel if I'm not producing something, I'm not doing something.
Yeah.
I just feel stupid.
Stagnant.
Like, what am I doing? All right,
Yep.
I've got this one chance at being alive,
Yeah.
and I'm wasting it. You know?
Exactly. No, that's kind of how I am to a point of like when I do have days where I have nothing planned. When that realization sets in, I kind of get this weird like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable right now.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
nothing to do today. Oh fuck. I have to have something. Like there's always something to do, right?
Yeah. That's the best part is when people are like, well, you can relax. What? Are you fucking crazy? What the hell would I do that for?
What is relaxing?
Yeah, when I do start slacking, it's easy for
I'll
me to
be
get sucked
dead
into
soon
that.
enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be dead soon enough. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's we're gonna definitely get back to all of the amazing stuff you have going on with your new upcoming solo EP, which I am very excited about and is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, very good stuff, man.
Thank you.
So we're gonna take it back to Boysetsfire days.
Take it back.
You know, let's if you don't care to school us, a little history lesson on how Boysetsfire kind of came to be, but more importantly, how you came to be a vocalist and a writer.
Let's see. I guess my whole life that I can remember, I've wanted to be involved in music, much to the chagrin of my parents.
Yeah.
You know, it's never something a parent wants to hear. I want to be a musician. Fuck! Sure, you don't want to be a doctor? No, a musician. Oh, God damn it! And then they try to be supportive, but try to be like, well, you need a backup plan.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, you never do because you're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, backup plans? Nah.
Right. No, I'm just going to be really successful at music.
Exactly.
Yeah, because everyone can do that.
Absolutely.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's dime a dozen for musicians. Money just thrown at you all the time.
Right. Constantly money thrown at it. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
I should have been in Def Leppard. Fuck.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess all my life, like I was just very in touch with music. I mean, both of my parents very musically inclined. They both sing. They both play guitar.
Oh, nice.
So it was sort of in the blood to an extent.
Yeah.
And plus, growing up, a lot of my influence came from my parents' albums, which strangely were a cross between folk music like Bob Dylan or Simon and Garfunkel and musicals.
Oh, wow.
Geez.
So
Tootsie.
I grew up very involved in musicals. I love musicals. I am probably one of the only straight men that can talk about musicals all day, you know?
That's fucking amazing, though. No, that's incredible. And that completely makes sense as to why a lot of the later I Am Heresy stuff, especially, is theatrical. And I mean, it's very epic.
It's exactly why.
And that's awesome. That's great to know, actually. I'm not alone.
Also, if you listen to Plague Years from Boysetsfire, you will literally hear parts like on oh great, I'm going to totally blank out. Falling Out theme. I think it's in the beginning of Falling Out theme. There's a little thing with these weird voices, which is straight up well, I don't want to say stolen because I don't want to get in trouble.
Right, no, not
straight up influenced
interpreted differently.
Interpreted from the scene in Jesus Christ Superstar of the lepers coming to Jesus. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that and where Pilate's counting down the lashes.
Yeah.
On Jesus. Yeah, there are parts in that album that are influenced by that.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Yeah. I have a whole different view of that record now. And
right.
And actually the music in general, like now I think things just make sense because I've always gotten a sense, and especially on your new solo album, there's so
got a lot
much
of epicness
theatrics
to that album.
Yeah. So
it's very theatric, it's very melodramatic, and there's a purposeful feeling put to the new stuff that harkens back, I feel, to those days, being into musicals and feeling that sort of dark passion to an extent.
Yeah.
From things like Les Mis or even Jesus Christ Superstar that had some very dark moments.
Yeah.
In it.
Oh yeah.
And even the more anthemic parts of Man of La Mancha, which is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
It's those dark and fucked up moments that also have this anthemic feel to them that definitely really inspired what I'm doing now.
That's amazing. That's like super cool to be able to bring that kind of influence to this type of music, and especially, bringing it to a hardcore band, and carrying that over.
Yeah.
But it translates. Right. Like that's
sure,
incredible.
Sure.
Jokes on you, hardcore kids. This was inspired by a musical.
Well, then I continue from Boysetsfire, which is sort of a hardcore band, to then I Am Heresy, which is a bit more metal, to then this, my solo stuff, which is I don't know.
Yeah. What I want to know what your way of describing the new sound is to this solo album, because
it definitely stems out. I think one of the best things, my friend Ashley, God, what did he call it? It was something like neo folk trip hop. It was awesome though. I have to find it on Facebook. I wrote it on it. It was something the world needs more, and he described it, and it was like, dude, that is the most perfect explanation of what I do I've ever heard.
Yeah. That's
because it definitely stemmed out of that post-industrial, like neo-folk sort of sound.
Yeah.
But that sound tends to get rather fucking monotone and boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to add something to that, which where comes the musicals and the other things. But we were talking about Boysetsfire, so I'll get back to that. And then we'll get back. So I rabbit trailed like a motherfucker.
It's okay. We do the same.
That is the par for the course on this podcast.
Rabbit holes are a must. They're a must.
Right. So I guess once I had determined, as I said, much to the chagrin of my parents, that I was going to become a musician, I thought long and hard for it. I started a couple of bands with kids in high school that just wanted to do covers, and it sucked. And then I lived in Florida for a bit of time and had a band called Second Nature. And if I can ever, I have on VHS tape the video of one of our shows. And if I ever get the opportunity to expose the world to this,
I think the world needs to be exposed to this.
Yeah, things will never be the same. I'll put it this way. Number one, shirt on while we were playing. I weighed a whole about 65 pounds and decided I shouldn't be wearing a shirt. Because I'm super tough. And if I stood sideways, you wouldn't be able to see me. But I also had that shaved around where you look like a sperm, like side and back with a ponytail. Oh man!
Don't tell me that.
I had hair down to the middle of my back, like I look like an asshole. It was awful.
Oh man!
If it makes you feel any better at all, we had a show. Our first show, I wore khaki cargo shirts, and I think shorts, and I wore flip flops. I think
that's true. You did wear flip flops. Yeah, he wore flip flops to the first show, and I remember.
Yeah, it was hideous. It was awful.
We were playing in this band together, and when he showed up to the show, I was like, "Well, what the fuck, dude? Like, we're a band and that's how you're going to present yourself? What are you doing?
Right. I was wearing a Stone Temple Pilot shirt.
That made it all better.
Exactly.
That's fucking amazing.
If there were to ever be a thou shalt not, it would have to do with sandals and flip flops on stage.
Oh yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah. I don't know.
Straight up.
And cargo shorts. That should never happen.
Oh yeah.
But they were really long and baggy, dude.
Oh, they were long.
Unless you're in fucking Terror, you're not wearing cargo shorts.
Exactly. That's true. Terror, Madball, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
No, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly.
I'm not telling them what to do. Yeah. Hey, could you not wear? No, you want to? Okay, fuck it. That's fine.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good. Keep them.
What is that? A basketball jersey? Okay, go ahead.
Nice.
I'm gonna stand over here and keep not getting beat up.
Exactly. I'm gonna keep my face in one piece the way it is right now.
Right.
You do your thing. The bass, your bass isn't too low at all. You're good.
Right.
Yeah. You're fine.
Right. Oh man. So then that brings us up to after doing all those things, I came back to the Delaware, Maryland area. Mm-hmm. And met. Well, no, I'm sorry. Josh, in Boysetsfire, we actually grew up together. Our parents were friends before we were even born. So we were sort of born into being friends.
Yeah.
And then Chad, we went to high school together.
Yeah.
So before I left for Florida for a little bit, I went to high school with Chad. So when I came back, funny enough, Josh and Chad had married sisters.
Oh man.
Right.
That's super random.
So much weirder because then I was dating one of their sisters, and it was just it's so fucking bizarre. But anyway,
we should just start a band, guys.
Yeah, we might as well start a band.
So basically, Josh and Chad started Boysetsfire, and when they were coming up with the idea, they wanted to do something that was outspoken, that toured, that, everything that every other band in Delaware was not.
Yeah. Right.
There were no other bands in Delaware that were going anywhere, trying to tour.
Yeah.
They all sort of talked about drinking and girls, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Which love them. That you gotta beer and girls are cool, but there's only so much you can do talking about them.
Exactly.
So we wanted to do something different. We wanted to speak our minds on social issues and politics and things like that. And when they called me, because I was the only singer they knew, I assume, I was ready. I was like, well, fuck yeah, it's my two best friends in the world, and blah, blah, blah. And it went from there. We got other people to play. And since then, me, Chad, and Josh are the only original members of the band. We just sort of bring in our other friends to hang out and play with us. So
that's awesome.
It's been a lot of fun.
I mean, the reasons you guys started the band, it's kind of the reason that 18-year-old me picked up After the Eulogy and for the first time heard Where's Your Anger, Where's Your Fucking Rage, stopped, and actually, no shit, started thinking about everything. Because the way I interpret that lyric, which may be completely different than what you had in mind when you wrote it, but was mainly, you have to be angry, and you can't. There are too many people that sit around and complain, whether it's politically or for themselves, physically or whatever. They complain about everything, but they don't have the anger or the rage to actually be pissed off enough to do something about it. So they just complain and sit back and watch everything happen and unfold. And it's hearing that line made me start thinking, if I ever expect anything to fucking happen, I have to put effort into it, or that's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's why, as you've probably seen, and we won't rabbit trail quite yet, but as you've probably seen me reinterpreting the 7 deadly sins into the 7 infernal sacraments. And one of them is rage. Yeah. Because I feel that rage and wrath and anger is a very positive emotion. Yeah. Obviously you can get very negative and self-destructive with it.
Yeah.
But if you use it to an end, it's powerful. It's very powerful to realize that there's a reason to be angry, there's a reason to be upset, and there's a reason to stop bitching about it and go do something.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I think that is what I needed at that time in my life, was to realize, everything is not just what you see. There's so much shit going on, and I mean, that was, I wasn't political at that time really, but then I, started listening to, other bands also like Propaganda and,
man.
and then once I started getting into that, like I started just opening my eyes and realizing, holy shit, man, I've been lied to my entire fucking life. Like,
right.
Everything is actually fucked, and it's not okay, and I have to do something about it, or just fall in line, and
So you chose to fall in line, though.
Yeah, yeah. So I just
one of the more brilliant things about life is that you fall. There's two awesome moments in your life. The one awesome moment is when you figure that out.
Yeah.
The second awesome moment is when you get older and you mature that feeling.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because there's a point where you turn into a weird conspiracy freak.
Oh, yeah.
And everything's out to get you, and everything's fucked, and the government's trying to kill you, and it's all weird. Like, and then as you get older, you're like, okay, wait a minute, I can pick and choose here.
Yeah.
I can split the bullshit from what's actually happening and what's actually, choose my battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the second beautiful moment you come into is when you go, oh, I can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So I totally know what you're saying.
I can't wait for that moment.
This world is going to be fucked up tomorrow too, so I'm just going to relax today.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, God damn it.
Was that boring?
That was no. That was just super weird. We just lost you. That's
yeah. I think that happened
that's
last
cool,
time.
Whatever, guys. That's cool. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I see how it is. God, this guy won't shut the fuck
up. No. Trust me. We value anyone that can. Oh gosh,
it's
have
like a breath of fresh air when
yes.
someone comes on here and talks.
Yeah. We don't have
this
to
guy
drag
with
it.
Self-importance and the blah blah blah. That's political.
So, but there was the political time throughout Boysetsfire up until 2007, and then you went on to do the Casting Out. And
yes,
for me, it seemed like lyrically you took a completely different direction.
Absolutely, I had to. I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah,
like
that makes
just
sense.
When you're just pissed off and angry all the fucking time at everything.
Yeah.
And everything's just at some point you're like, you know what? I need to relax and party for a second.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just need to, and with the Casting Out there, it's shown through a couple of times with a couple of songs that, I just couldn't help myself. But most of them were either about personal issues or just about having fun.
Yeah. And
so,
I mean, you can definitely tell that in the music. It's definitely more upbeat, and just the sound of the music alone, and your melodies and whatnot.
Right.
It just sounds happier.
Strangely enough, the Casting Out is the sound of me pussing out, and I'll explain why. Not because of the sound or anything like that. It is that because when I started the Casting Out, that was supposed to be my solo project, and I pussed out, and I invited band members in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was solo album or solo band version 1.0. That was the
beta.
That was the beta. Yeah.
I was too big of a pussy to fucking do it.
Oh,
man. I was like, no, I need other people.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
And then it got very pop punky and stuff like that instead of going the direction it is now. But actually, I feel like I'm going to go back and revisit some of the older, like Alone and Ebbing of the Tide, things like that.
Yeah.
From the Casting Out that had sort of a more darker and themic feel to it, and maybe go back into those with the solo stuff.
Oh, yeah. A re-envisioning would be incredible.
Yeah. Especially since right now, Boysetsfire has been nitpicking the last Casting Out album that never really came out for new songs.
Oh, really?
So,
Shit.
So on the new Boysetsfire album, Let It Bleed. Wait, Let It Bleed? Yeah, Let It Bleed and Pray are Casting Out songs.
Oh,
holy
okay.
shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you guys, first of all, While a Nation Sleeps was an incredible record. Are you guys going to continue putting stuff out now that you've kind of gotten back since 2010, or is it something that's...
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We're in the process of writing now.
Awesome.
Oh man, that's great news.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because I'm doing the solo stuff and we're doing Boysetsfire, writing for that. I Am Heresy just finally got a new drummer. We're going to be writing with that.
Man.
Like, I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, seriously,
you're
dude.
asking for it, man.
Yeah.
That you're about to get... Oh, man, 2015 is going to be a busy one for you, which, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
It's going to go by. I'm not even going to know what fucking hit me.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
But stylistically, those are, the three projects are very different from each other. So it's like...
It's also very impressive that you're able to manage that as a singular lyricist, but yet you can handle those three different roles separately.
Mm-hmm. It's actually what keeps me going. If I were in three bands that sounded the same, I'd give up and just pick one.
Yeah, that's true. That makes
what
total
would be
sense.
the point?
Yeah.
So in this way, I get to fill out my whole schizophrenic palette.
Yes, that's...
I mean, for me, music is ritual. It's sitting on the psychiatrist's couch. It's, it's getting out all of those feelings that need to be dispensed of.
Yeah, that's... I mean, for me, I kind of use
same way for me,
music for the exact same reason. Like when I need to get something off my chest, regardless of what it is, I have to write because that's my only way of expressing myself generally, and it's
right.
And usually, I feel better afterwards.
I mean, even if I'm not writing,
Usually, for me, it you write the song, and then you play it a bunch of times. You feel a good deal of emotion for it. It's still pretty sore on you, but then after a while, it starts fading out. It starts healing because you've been getting it out so much. Now, here's my favorite part, though, about these kind of songs, is when they get old and boring, like Rookie.
Yeah.
Like, we don't practice that song.
Right.
Like, who the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, we would lose our minds if we sat around and tried to practice that song. It's so goddamn boring. But when you get up in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and they're all singing along, and you can tell that they're using that song for their own purposes, it reinvents the song immediately.
Yeah,
I could totally see that.
And it's a beautiful feeling to once again feel the passion of a 20-year-old song that you had long since sort of forgotten the reasons you were singing it, looking into someone's eyes who's screaming it passionately because they've created a new meaning for it, and that in and of itself gives you new vigor. So it's absolutely beautiful.
It's like it awakens the thoughts that were there when it was first written.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Plus, anytime that you write something and then find out that it, positively affected someone else in any way, that feeling is immeasurable. I mean, that's I've got to say, it has been a crazy journey for Boysetsfire with that kind of thing, because back in the day when we started out, having the mix of the personal and the political and the social and we were obviously weirdos, you know what I mean? When we came out, and we attracted fucking weirdos. Holy shit! And there were some intense fucking moments. Like, I mean, there were some funny moments.
Yeah.
But there were some moments that left you gutted.
Nathan, I got your face tattooed on me. Look at it. It's your face tattooed.
Right.
Hey, man,
that's the thing.
great
like,
set.
There were definitely scary moments.
Yeah.
There were funny moments. And then there were moments, and this actually happened a lot, like where kids would come up to me and literally to me say, for the past, for most of my life, my stepdad has been beating and raping me, and they go on this long thing and then look at me and like, you're the reason I finally left home.
Holy
shit. Jesus
like,
Christ. That's...
Yeah, like, like, what do you even say to that except just break into tears at that moment?
Yeah,
you know,
Jesus.
Like, and give them a hug and like, what do you do?
Wow,
like,
I don't know. I don't know that I would have the capacity to respond to that.
Yeah, there's not a space in my brain that can accept that. I don't know.
No. There's like, we still to this day, like 20 years later, after some of these stories, sit around like, dude, do you remember that one fucking woman? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that story, and like, I was like, I wasn't right for a week after that fucking story. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine, especially again, because of your lyrics. Like, they are very, very powerful. And I mean, I've always thought that, you know, for example, any of the lyrics on, After the Eulogy could be read as, you know, poetry in a sense. And, your new record speaks to that as well. And so, I mean, there's a lot that people can pull from that, you know, and that's the most inspirational part is like your lyrics are connectable with anyone, like no matter what, like where you come from, you know, you can read that and you can find something that you can attach to.
Right. I always felt and still feel and hope to continue that what we do is not necessarily toe a party line per se or a political agenda as much as we are there to empower people.
Yeah.
And to help them find their own path and their own way that helps them make themselves a better person.
That's awesome.
And that's what's the most important, I think, to us.
Yeah.
Because fuck what we think. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit what our political agendas or ideas are, or spiritually or religiously or whatever? If it makes you feel like you can get through another fucking day, and you can throw off the. You know, even in this, I even find that it's a revolutionary act to create music that people can just have a fucking break for one goddamn second.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, they can come in, they can listen to music, they can dance and not think.
Yep.
You know,
that's absolutely
I
right.
think that's even beautiful. You know, people have been like, I mean, you have such deep lyrics, blah, blah, blah. Does that piss you off when people they don't care? No, it does not piss me off. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope I do that for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, fuck my lyrics. Fuck me. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, my ego is not that fragile.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am basically there to entertain and help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're artists. We're there to confront and incite, but at the same time, we're there to inspire and help people to just have a fucking moment of fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't believe there should be an agenda when it comes to making art. You know, I mean, you can have your own personal feelings put in there and everything, but when you start making it like an agenda, like this is why I'm doing this and fuck everyone if they don't feel the same way, then it's
right.
It's like putting this self-importance on it that you shouldn't be doing, you know? And it takes away from the actual music.
I mean, agendas are almost unavoidable.
Right.
Like, you're going to have certain agendas, but it's not taking them too serious.
Exactly. You got to tame
You know what I mean? You've definitely got to tame your, and I feel that comes from, some people would say that that's egotistical. I find that it's a sign of a weak ego.
Yeah.
Is when people are not secure enough in themselves and don't have a strong enough ego to support, the fact that some people don't give a shit what you think.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If people are like, you know, I can give a shit about your lyrics, but your music's badass. Like, right on.
Yeah.
I didn't write a lick of it.
Yeah. Exactly. But cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Right. You just literally put down the only parts of this I do. But you know what? Fuck me. Whatever.
Okay, so then, you know, we've got I Am Heresy. So that how did that come about when, and I'm assuming that was after the casting out, like where was the decision to create this band, because it was much different thematically, and I mean it just seemed I'm trying to think of the way to phrase it, but I guess just where did it come from? Where did the idea to start this band?
I think a lot of it came from I had started listening to a lot of new music. Well, I'd always been a fan of like metal, but I had never really figured out why most newer metal bands just suck to me.
Yes.
Oh God.
Like, I just couldn't get into them. They just didn't mix it right. Like, and then especially listening to like black metal stuff, like it was like, all right, you almost got it.
Yeah.
But where are the dynamics? Like, fuck, you're putting me to sleep.
Yeah.
It's just, And then the inspiration came. I heard Nachmistium.
I don't think I've heard that.
Well, fucking go do it.
I'm gonna.
They just put out their last album before breaking up.
Oh.
And when I had first heard them, they had released this double LP. It was called Black Meddle, Meddle.
Nice.
And there were two albums that went with it. One was called Assassins, and one was called Addicts. And both of them explored this realm of black metal mixed with rock and roll and like almost pop sensibility at sometimes. It just like it blew me away.
That's awesome.
Like it was just amazing. And I was like, this is metal should be progressing like this, you know? And I want to get involved in that, and I want to do something more aggressive, but in a way that like Boysetsfire probably isn't going to get into.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just straight chugga. Like, I mean,
right. It's yeah. Like I just wanted to do something aggressive that I couldn't do with Boysetsfire.
Yeah.
So I started with I Am Heresy, and at this point, when I was getting into I Am Heresy, I was also coming in to myself a little bit more with my personal acquaintance with Satanism.
Yeah.
And as I was, I guess, more admitting to myself who I was,
right,
and what I believed, it started to make sense. You know what I mean? And not that Satanism is about heavy music.
Right.
It was just that my lyrics and what I was feeling, I needed that rage. I needed that ability to get that out, because I had never really screamed that out.
Right. And it was a good vehicle in which to use to take your point and put it across. Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, and it's funny because now I feel like my project now is actually a better vehicle now that I've matured into what I believe.
Right.
But at the time, that was really the only way I could have gone with what I was feeling and what I was believing and coming into.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's basically what I Am Heresy was and why it began. And I went out and I picked people who I knew had the same sort of roundabout ideology, who had the same musical taste, who had different components I wanted to add into it.
Yeah.
And it worked out very well, I thought. So.
Yeah, I absolutely love the self-titled record is, I mean, Thy Will is incredible too, but I can't track it down on vinyl. But I have it digitally, you know. But yeah, the shit is heavy and it's amazing. Like, it's done. Like you were able to bring over your vocal style from Boysetsfire and then just like turn it up about 12 degrees. Like it just got cranked. It was like, okay, so here's what I do. And you know, I've been screaming, but guess what? I can scream harder.
Yeah.
right.
You thought that was screaming. This is screaming. Guys.
This is fucking anger.
Right.
So what kind of background did you come from? Like when you were in Boysetsfire and doing the casting out, was that a period of like, were you involved in a different kind of religion and then fell out of it and then got into Church of Satan around the time of I Am Heresy?
What it was is that, and I guess I've said this before, is that when I was younger, I mean, I was brought up in a Christian household. My dad's a pastor, and most of my family are Christian and rather conservative Christians, although very wonderful people, very loving and accepting for what. They're not your normal, conservative Christians. As far as
I feel like I kind of got lucky with that as well with my family.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice to have that.
It helps.
it also helps you be able to respect other religions and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because you don't have this immediate hatred towards them because you're like, okay, well, I know some people who are pretty fucking cool, so I'm going to back off on the bashing. You know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, but when I was younger, I remember I read the Satanic Bible. I of course, in my church, they had all these things where they would show videos of Anton LaVey and, oh, this is a bad guy. And I'm like, oh, he's sort of fucking cool. I don't know. What are you guys freaking out about? Like, this is sort of awesome. Like, and it's not really that, like, crazy. Like, he's just sort of telling people to stop being wimps.
Exactly. And he was just an eccentric guy. I mean, like...
and just very, like, eccentric sort of guy that, like, was awesome and sort of very witty and, like,
that's what I was going to say. The dry sense of humor was perfect. I mean, I can't remember what...
Yeah.
There's that YouTube clip that he was on a television show, and it's... I mean, the guy is just, you know, kind of bashing him to his face, but he just stays calm and collected. And I was like, dude,
and he
fuck
does it in a pair of horns.
Yes, exactly.
It's incredible.
It is.
He's talking as if he's not wearing goofy horns. Like, it's awesome.
It is. Like, it's amazing.
I watch his videos and just like, oh man, what a fucking respect.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I need that ability to like just look somebody in the eyes with a fucking pair of goofy horns on my head and seriously talk them down like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But but it was funny because, you know, growing up and Anton LaVey, I felt in the Satanic Bible showed me to an extent who I was, you know, but it took me a very long time to really come back to that. You know, I went through a lot of the guilt from being a Christian and feeling that, I'm doing something wrong and sin and blah, blah, blah. And then it was honestly into my 30s when I was finally I had become more liberal in my Christianity. And it was into my 30s when I was finally getting rid of a lot of the fear.
Yeah.
Because although my parents were wonderful, the church was not.
Right.
And I was brought up in a lot of fear. Because that's how control is usually doled out, you know, through fear. You know, obviously personal belief is personal belief, but once you get into certain organizations, they have to control you in a certain way to make you do things, you know, and in order to tithe and whatnot. So it took a very long time for me, and through not only Satanism, but also listening to certain atheists, like especially Christopher Hitchens, who's just, if I can use the term, a blessing in my life.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Listening to that guy, like just the intelligence and the wit and the candor and and you know what drives me up a wall is these other new atheists who think they're Christopher Hitchens.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You're not. You're just an asshole.
Yeah. Although like, I will say I do love Sam Harris. I feel like he's super intelligent.
And I when I say these new atheists, I don't even mean these like Sam Harris and people like that who are well known and have every right to speak their mind. It's these fucking dildos on fucking Facebook.
Yes.
They're like, who gives a shit what you think about God?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck you. Like, and attacking people like that are my friends who honestly just want to fucking believe in Jesus and just live their life. Leave them alone.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, they believe in God. What the fuck do you care?
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly how I've always looked at it. Exactly. Yeah. I have my beliefs, and you know, I'm not going to hold anything against Derek, you know, because he has very different beliefs.
Polar opposite beliefs.
Right. But we've been, you know, close friends for 16 years, and it's never, and we've had, even last night we had a religious conversation. Yeah. We always end up going there, and we'll talk for hours, but neither of us walk away hating each other or looking at each other any different.
Mainly it's because you can be a Christian and not like the church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can, it's a person. Everyone has their personal thoughts on everything.
Right.
So for me to think someone else is wrong by doing what they're doing, that's not justified. You know?
Well, you can be in anything and still not be a dick.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's easy. Like, and that's part of what searching searching and working towards a pluralistic society is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's working towards, okay, I don't push my shit down your throat. You don't push your shit down my throat. If we can't agree, we'll just walk in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Who
Absolutely.
gives a shit? Like, we don't need to sit here and waste each other's time arguing about it.
Exactly.
But otherwise, you know what I mean? Why miss out on a cool friendship?
Exactly. Yeah. Because being a Christian, I can totally see the stuff in the Book of Satan and be like, okay, these are all good things that all good humans must do.
Bible.
The Satanic Bible.
Sure.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a great point. I mean, there's obviously things in there that I'm like, oh, well, I don't know about that, but...
Not your thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. But there's stuff totally in the Bible that I can read. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sacrifice my first son, so...
I'm glad that you're not a biblical literal.
Oh,
That's
God,
good.
man.
That's
yeah,
good.
no, definitely not a biblical literal, no.
Yeah,
It's funny because I've had, like, people like, they're like, well, if they believe in God and stuff, well, then they have to believe all this stuff in the Bible. I'm like, dude, shut up. Let them be as liberal as they need to be about it. That's cool. That means they're not being a dick to us. It's cool.
Yeah, that's
true. Fucking, dude, if you want to tell me you don't believe this, that, and the other thing about the Bible, I'm cool. All right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Are you bombing a building?
Yeah.
Like,
what
right.
pertinent information do you have that you're going to deliver? Because that's not shocking.
Right.
I've heard this before.
Right. Yeah. It was funny, though, because, then coming up through that, listening to these atheists, and then I came to the point, it was like, okay, well, I know what I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was like, I don't really want to live my life as what I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just for me, you know what I mean? I mean, and I think that's why a lot of atheists, either like whether it's Satanism or it's humanism or something like that, they want to latch on to something that they actually do believe in, so they don't just clarify themselves as an atheist, because a lot of times it's like, I'm an atheist. Okay, well, I now know you don't believe in God, but what do you believe?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think? Because that's way more interesting.
That's true.
So who gives a fuck what you don't think? Why don't you tell us what you do think?
Yeah.
So
that's actually a way better way to look at it than the way I've always looked at it, as to, what someone believes, as opposed to, no, wait, what don't you believe? Because that is a more pertinent question.
Well, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God, but I love French toast.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking IHOP, man.
Right. And this is the moment where I found Peter Gilmore and the Church of Satan and refound. You know,
how did you come across Peter Gilmore?
It was honestly through the internet, just looking things up. It was like, I'm going to look back into this, because it was when I was saying, okay, I know what I don't believe now. What do I believe? And I was like, wait a minute. Back in the day, I had a strong connection to this thing that I was afraid to be connected to.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I try it out again? Why don't I go check it out again? And I read through some more humanist stuff, and I was like, that's some, to me, little wishy-washy type of love your neighbor shit that just isn't me, And and that was when I started looking into Satanism again and Peter Gilmore, and started with the, well, you don't need to love everyone. Why would you? It's a waste of fucking time.
Right.
Love the people that deserve your love, and it's like, okay, you got me.
Yeah.
Let's keep going,
Okay, logical. So that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. And that's when I started just digging into the Satanic scriptures, and then started finding, interviews and different things with him, and just the intense intelligence and the class on that.
I was just about to say he is a classy motherfucker. I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, it's amazing.
The class on that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even, and it's been since then, I've had the sheer pleasure of emailing back and forth with Mr. Gilmore.
Awesome.
And it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
like,
that's
just a pleasure
amazing.
to sort of get to know him through emails and stuff, and to get to know someone who doesn't immediately disappoint you the second you sort of get to know them better. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, you got all this and you say all this and you talk a good game, and holy shit, it's exactly who you are.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? So that's what really brought me in. That's what made me go, okay, I really do want to join in with this organization. I do want to be an actual active member of this and be a part of supporting this organization.
Man, that's awesome. That's I think I had something I was going to say about Gilmour's writings. I've kind of had the same thing. Just like reading through his stuff, I realize like it's so thought provoking. Like regardless of whether you are where you stand religiously, I think anyone can read it and find something out of it that they can relate to, and that's I think what has kind of kept me like. I read the scriptures, and it's incredible. His writing is just fantastic. And I mean,
absolutely.
I guess the whole the organization, that's the thing that I've heard the most questions about is, well, if you're atheist, why do you have to connect to a organization? Period.
Yeah,
well, you don't have to.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to.
You
it's
do it
choice.
because you want to. What? It weirds me out those questions like about people's personal feelings and ways of doing things that just it's sort of like, I mean, here's the thing, if you're asking for an actual knowledge, it's one thing, but you can tell the difference than when someone's just trying to needle you, you know what I mean, like, and trying to like prove you wrong. Exactly. You're not going to prove me wrong because it's only right for me. I'm not preaching. I don't need you to believe shit.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to convert you. Who gives a shit what you think? Like, go ahead. Believe whatever the hell you want. This is for me. So, it always sort of weirds me out when people get like that. Like, well, why? And it has been my saying, I guess, is when people are like, well, why can't you just call yourself an atheist? Well, I could, but I don't want to define myself by what I'm not.
Right. Yeah. No,
it's just simple. I mean, I could tell you, yes, you are correct. I am an atheist.
Yeah.
I do not believe in many things.
Yeah.
I do not believe in many gods. I do not believe in many things that I don't feel there's any proof of their existence.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And that's through my own personal experience is what I think.
Yeah.
But if that's how I'm going to define myself, I feel weird about that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, the point being is that then I came into this and I joined first as a basic member, and then I had filled out this long sort of application process thing where they ask you a shit ton of weird questions. Some of them seem relevant.
Yeah.
Some of them seem like, why are they asking me this? Until later, you're like, I could see why that's funny.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get to know you and what your actual theories are on life and things like that, to see if you're an actual fit for it. And it's sort of awesome. I like being a part of something that's that careful about who they
choose,
accept, and and even once they accept certain memberships and things like that, who they'll further involve. You know?
Right.
So it's sort of nice to be part of something that's that choosy and works off of actual merit.
Right. Exactly.
And what you actually do in your real life and what you know and study of the actual ideology.
Yeah.
So, which brings us sort of to modern day.
Yeah, and I was going to ask if the writings, if Gilmour's writings have, persuaded your writing as far as lyrics for your new stuff, if that was something that I'm sure it had an influence.
Definitely with, as you heard on the one song Corzon, was speaking on vital existence, which is, obviously a big topic within Satanism, living to the fullest, and vital existence is used often.
Yeah.
So I use that within the song. I do try to be very careful not to just quote.
Right.
And rob
plagiarize.
Because that happens a lot and it really bothers me. Like when you see other people whether it's Satanism, Christianity, Buddhism, whatever, you have people that are involved in certain things where they don't know how to speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just take others' thoughts.
Turn their ideology into their own thing. They
Right.
take the thoughts of others and pass it off as their own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's called plagiarism.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
So,
that
yeah.
shit's not legal, nor is it cool
yeah,
whatsoever.
Exactly. It's not legal or acceptable. So, cut it the fuck out.
It makes you a shitty person.
It's your own thing.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So bringing up to modern times, I've been a member for a little over a year now. I've been an active member for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of really cool people. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
It's been cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean it's amazing, and that's that does bring us to present day, which is your record coming out on Tuesday on the 13th.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
what a wonderful day to bring it out.
I know. I made the connection today.
It was funny. I had written, because a lot of times with the Church of Satan, they want their members to send in news of what they're doing so they can promote it and things like that.
Yeah.
And I had sent in, to Mr. Gilmore. I was like, hey, look, I'm doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm doing this teaser, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to put it out on this day. And he was like, why don't we just announce it on the 13th when you actually release it? because it's the 13th.
Right.
It's like,
it works.
Excellent point, and I should have expected nothing different.
Exactly.
It was perfect. Like, all right, yeah, you're right.
I just made that connection today. I was like, holy shit, it's the 13th. I wonder if that was a coincidence or if that was
planned.
Yeah, that was planned. That had to be planned.
Right. Yeah.
It had to be planned. So,
yeah.
Are you planning on doing any sort of touring and whatnot with your solo stuff? Awesome.
Yeah. What we're doing right now, actually, and all this crazy shit we've been planning, is so we are. This Friday, we have to get together, and I've got 2 songs that we need to work through because we're playing a show in New York with this guy Darren Deicide in New York on February 27th.
Awesome.
And we don't have enough songs. We only have these 4 songs.
Yeah.
So we're gonna add 2 more to it. And I think with that and some samples and crazy shit, it should be enough for an opening act. 6 songs. If you go too far over that, you're being a bore.
I agree. Opening bands, 6 songs. You've heard it right here.
Yeah.
Keep it to a minimum.
Yep.
Keep people wanting more.
Exactly.
So what was the thing? Oh yeah. So we've got these 2 other songs we need to get in Friday and sort of rework them and write them, and so we have them good enough to play them.
Yeah.
Then obviously from here until then we need to practice because we've never.
How many people are you playing with?
It's me, Dan, and a drummer.
Nice.
So it'd be 3 people together because most of the things can be done through samples and things like that, keyboards that Dan can run. Plus Dan plays guitar and does some harmonies. Plus I think actually at this show, Chad from Boysetsfire is going to play drums for us.
Awesome.
And he'll. He can do harmonies and stuff. Like, obviously, I mean, he and I have been harmonizing with each other forever. So,
it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So we got it down. But so also in addition to this, we are releasing what we're calling the Ritual Chamber sessions. What this is we're taking 3 of the songs off of the album. Wolves, Corzin, and Tomorrow, and playing them acoustic.
Oh, okay.
Now, by acoustic, with acoustic guitar, piano, and cello.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, and making them more acoustic than electronic.
Yeah.
And we are going to release 3 videos with these songs. Now, Baptismal Rites, Dan's going to do a remix for.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I also hope a friend of ours is from the COS is going to do another remix. I don't know how comfortable he is with me saying his name, so I won't.
Yeah.
But we'll be doing another remix for one of the
awesome.
songs, so that'll come out too. But I'm very looking forward to what we're going to do. Is we're going to do these 3 songs acoustic, and then we're going to get into this room, me and Dan and Elise, the girl that played cello on this album and did some of the more operatic vocals, and hopefully Rebecca that did some of the keys, and do an actual sort of ritual chamber session where we create a ritual chamber with candles, incense, the whole 9 yards, everything, the sigils and symbols and daggers and, everything. and play the songs acoustically in this ritual setting with candles and everything. And then we'll start putting them out one by one on YouTube. And that's why I've been trying to push people to follow our YouTube.
Yeah.
Because people who are following it will see it first.
Is it Nathan Gray Songs?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, everything I do is under Nathan Gray Songs.
Instagram.
Yeah. But so if you go on there and you follow our YouTube page, you'll be able to see these things first, and then I'll post a link later for other people. But
man, an acoustic guitar and cello version of Wolves, I can't even fathom what that's going to sound like.
Any kind of intimate session with a cello at it is fantastic.
Yeah. I love the cello.
It's like my favorite of all the strings.
Voice.
Yeah.
It's I love it.
Someone told me that last week. I recently bought a violin because I got bored with playing. I've played drums for 15 years and guitar for like 13. I was just getting bored doing what I was doing. So for some reason, one day I just decided, I think I want to learn the violin. And so I bought a violin. And now I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it.
We both sit over here and just make each other cringe.
Yeah, we both make each other...
Sounds like a cat being raped.
Exactly.
I wish mine sounded like a cat being raped. It sounds worse than that.
But someone had...
It sounds worse than that.
Yeah, trust me, it does. It's way worse.
That would be way better.
Someone mentioned the other day the cello being the closest timbre.
I don't know if you want to be caught on... tape saying that would be better. Just so you know.
That's true. This shit is recorded now. It's you just said it.
You just said that.
I just like being honest.
Right.
That's a good thing.
But so we'll do those, and then what I'm going to do is Dan and I have created an imprint of sorts called Black Goat Transmission that will put out the physical copies of this album.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's CD or vinyl. And what we're going to do for the vinyl is the EP will be on one side. It'll be a 12-inch, and on the other side will be the acoustic songs.
Dude, that's a great idea.
That's an amazing idea.
I wish more people did that with EPs.
Me too. We were going to ask that.
No, absolutely. And I thought, because when you put it out, like I just wanted to give it something special for the vinyl, because you want to do colored vinyl and all that crazy shit, So why not make it incredibly special? You know what I mean? Do something cool for it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That was kind of one of my questions was the decision to do the digital route, and if there was a plan to do that. And that makes it even better because, again, that's way more special that the vinyl version will have all of this extra stuff, which is going to be fantastic. That's awesome.
Right? Yeah. I'm very excited to put this out. Very excited.
And on the new one, Wolves and Baptismal Rites, that has some spoken word samples in it. I was just gonna. I was wondering what those were from.
From Dunwich Horrors.
Okay.
It's an older movie that it's obviously from H.P. Lovecraft, but based on H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah. And I've always had a very deep connection with H.P. Lovecraft because I always really loved his symbolism and his reason for symbolism.
Yeah.
Water is always a very big topic with him.
Yeah.
And where his guy, whether some are from space or whatnot, but a lot of them delve under the water.
Yeah.
And the reason why water is such a big thing, or was for H.P. Lovecraft, if you look in the Bible and you look through the creation story, the only thing that the only line that was created that didn't end with, and God saw it and it was good, is the water.
Oh, man.
And the reason for that is that when men wrote the Bible, water was considered feminine and evil.
Oh, wow.
It was,
man.
It was considered mysterious and feminine and evil and wrong. And all kinds of demons and devils lived within this. So God can't look upon that and say it's good.
You just made the sea even more badass, and I didn't think that you could make the sea more badass. But like, I've always been intrigued by oceans.
I'm about to become a sailor. Water.
Yeah. But that right there, I saw the picture that you posted not long ago with the hand coming up from the ocean.
The hand of Satan.
Fucking amazing. Like, I'd never thought about that, and that about the Bible. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's you have Leviathan, obviously, and you have Rahab, which that I Am Heresy songs about, which comes from the Talmud, which Rahab is essentially the same thing as Leviathan. Although within the Talmud, I believe that Leviathan controlled the waters because they believed there were waters as you see, and then the heavenly waters, which is the sky. So, and the spiritual world and whatnot. So, there was no science at that time, so they had no idea. But
they didn't have shit.
So they had no idea. They were ignorant. But so I've always had that sort of feeling with water, and not only that, but just the cleansing factor and the renewal factor and all that kind of thing mixed with that. It just when you think of invoking a new self, or if you think of, like, within Satanism, there's a thing called greater magic, which is where you ritualize these feelings and these hurts and these desires, and then you leave them in the ritual chamber so you can go lead a normal life.
Right.
You're
able to leave it behind in a...
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of fixating on those things, you get rid of them in there and you move on.
Yeah.
So, and that's, to me, what music is, as we were saying earlier. You ritualize these things and you move on from them because you're able to expel them.
Yeah.
And so, water has always played a very sort of substantial role in my thought patterns and my ideology and things like that. So because of that, and then learning from H.P. Lovecraft, and it made a lot of sense to me.
I'm going to have to read more H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft is awesome.
No, I think there's so many different cool analogies you can bring from his stuff. Once you get into it, I have so many crazy theories on different things, which could be or could not be correct. But to me, I mean, it's fictional work anyway, so I can bring whatever I want.
Exactly. Exactly. It's there for interpretation, and that's it. That's interesting. I was wondering how on your new record, because originally when I heard that you were putting out a solo record, I thought what you normally think, acoustic guitar, singer-songwriter. And then I heard it, and I was like, holy shit, this is not so what I was much expecting. More than just a solo record. It was seriously kind of mind-blowing to me, because I think because I was expecting, singer-songwriter. Yeah.
Right, sure.
But what brought in all of those extra layers?
Like, were they written as acoustic songs before they were fleshed out with all the electronics and the drums and panned out with all the sounds?
Yeah. Well, what happened is when I wrote the songs, I wrote them on acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really wanted to avoid that common,
Strummy,
no matter what you do, you're going to sound like Tim Berry or Chuck Reagan. And they do it great. I love what they do, but and they're wonderful people, but they do it. So why reinvent the wheel,
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to do something new because I just didn't want to create the same shit. It's going to be a punk kid writing on an acoustic guitar is just going to come out as acoustic 3-chord punk, So I got in touch with my friend Daniel, who has much more of an industrial background. And I was like, if anybody can help me break out of this, it would be him. You know? So if we get together and we sort of combine his thing with mine and sort of this more neo-folk, sort of dark folk sort of sensibility with his form of, you know, the industrial and the
electronic
stuff, like I think we could come up with something really cool. And I believe we did.
Yeah. I just love the idea of writing something like a simple form of something and then completely just fucking deconstructing it and making something completely new out of the ashes of it. Yeah. And that, it's always,
right.
It feels like it's such a new process. Song whenever you do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
it's an awesome process.
The record, I'm sure it was intentionally mixed this way, but it's an amazing treat to listen to with headphones because there's so much going on.
Yeah, there's lots of going on all over the place.
And that's the cool thing is when you get involved with someone like Daniel who is really into that kind of technical stuff he did that definitely on purpose, and it's awesome. It's such a different listen when you put headphones on.
Yeah,
completely.
And it's just like, it's very cool to hear things that I was like, wait, I didn't even know that was.
Like, you know? Wait, I never heard that before.
Wait, who moved that chair during that take?
I like that cool thing. What's that thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't record that. I didn't fucking record that. Yeah. What is that?
Right,
what is that? That bounced left to right. I didn't do that. Yeah. I don't remember doing any bouncing.
But that's also the cool thing of working with people you trust.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You knew that coming together with your forces of, you know, the songs you had and the production knowledge he has.
Exactly.
It was going to come out.
Here's this music. Pan this correctly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic EP, man. I'm really excited for it to come out.
Thank
you. I think people are going to absolutely love it. I mean, especially if they've been a fan of anything that you've done in the past, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
I just have to add it. I do have to cut this short.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, man, no problem. We're about to close out with you here.
I just realized it's been almost an hour, if not an hour.
We appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah, totally, man.
Yeah, no, thank you
Thank you so much for doing this with us.
No, absolutely. I appreciate, I don't know, like I always figure like with interviews and stuff like that, when somebody actually gives a shit what you have to say, that's sort of cool. Like it'd be really weird if I was like, oh God, this again. You know?
Like, we give a shit.
Oh yeah, it must suck that somebody gives a shit what you have to say. Like an asshole.
Oh man. Well, is it cool if we play a song to play us out of the conversation?
Oh yeah.
Well, you got one in mind. Which one would you rather us play?
If you're gonna play a song from I would go with Corson because
cool.
That's tomorrow. I'm gonna be releasing that in stream form.
Awesome.
On all my media outlets, whatever.
Awesome.
I'll be putting a link out for our SoundCloud so people can stream it the day before they get the EP.
Yeah, that's my current leader on the album so far. It's changed a couple times.
I love that
song. That's my favorite one.
Wolves is still stuck with me pretty hard. Wolves is an
incredible. Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I love them all.
Yeah.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
You know,
It'd be odd if you said, "Well, these 3 songs are shit, but this one song is really good."
But I had to put out more than a single. I had to.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, we appreciate it so much, man. And we're definitely going to retweet and repost when you put out that SoundCloud link.
Absolutely, man.
Please do. That would be awesome. I appreciate your support. Thank you guys so much.
No problem, man. You have a great night.
Right on, man. You guys too.
Thanks, Nathan. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Tonight we align with a sure and firm foundation, with daggers drawn and flames alight. For our hearts we must choose to no longer live